Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking this morning, a shooting in Raleigh. Right now, a man is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. We'll take you out to the scene of that shooting.
And skies cleared overnight, but we do have some patchy fog that started to pop up. I'll let you know if you'll run into it on your morning commute.
And supporting Coach Lucas. Tonight is the first game after the wife of Wake Forest High's football coach was killed. How you can join the community in honoring the former Wake County principal. It is 4:30 on your Friday morning. A lot to tell you about. Good morning, everyone. I'm Renee Chu. Glad you're up with us at this hour. You're up, so that's why we're up as well. And if you step outside, you'll notice there's some foggy conditions out there, Elizabeth.
We cleared overnight last night, but we still have a lot of lingering moisture in the atmosphere. So as we start to cool the temperatures down, that helps to produce some condensation in the form of some low cloud cover and fog. And we're definitely seeing that. We saw that in Franklinton. We're seeing it in Lewisburg, over in Durham. A lot of places starting to see that this morning. Right now, our temperature is 63 and our dew point's still 63 as well. If our dew point had dropped down into the low 50s, we probably wouldn't have this fog, but our dew point's staying fairly high at 63. It just means there's a lot of moisture lingering in the atmosphere. It's 57 degrees in Roxborough, 61 in Rocky Mountain, 65 in Fayetteville, so it's a comfortable temperature as you're headed out. We'll be in the 60s up until around 10 a.m., and it's really going to be a nice afternoon. This low cloud cover and fog will burn off pretty quickly, and highs will climb into the low 80s. We have a beautiful weekend in our forecast. I'll show you how it will feel coming up.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you. Right now, officers are investigating a shooting at a home. We know one man was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Kelsey Coffey is in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on Pettis Place this morning. Kelsey, what are you learning?
Renee, this scene has been active for more than 2 hours now, and police seem to be focusing their investigation on this one home here on Pettis Place. We've seen dozens of officers here on scene, but check out this video here. You can see how police placed several evidence markers in front of that house. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker arrived here just 30 minutes after police received a call about this around 2 o'clock this morning. Now, when officers arrived at the scene, they found a man who was shot. That man has been taken to the hospital with what appears to be life-threatening injuries. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on the search for that shooter as well as the man's condition. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Kelsey, thank you. This morning, we're getting a look at higher quality surveillance video released by the FBI showing political activist Charlie Kirk's suspected shooter leaving the scene. You can see him here in dark clothing running across the roof of a building on Utah Valley University's campus. Then he jumps down and runs off. These pictures also give a better look at the suspect. The FBI says it has recovered the weapon believed to have been used in the shooting, as well as footwear impressions and a palm print. Utah Governor Rick Cox says authorities have received thousands of leads and tips. They've already conducted 200 interviews.
The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing.
According to an ATF report, the recovered rifle and ammo had phrases related to cultural issues written on them. The FBI is analyzing those. As investigators are working to determine a motive, the White House and Congress are considering increasing security for lawmakers. President Trump said yesterday he is not concerned about his safety, but he is really concerned for our country. Several members of Congress say they are worried about their safety at individual events.
I've talked to my wife, and she really wants me to start wearing a bulletproof vest.
I like being accessible, but being accessible is starting to look like being vulnerable.
A deliberate review process right now to determine what measures are appropriate, how much we could allocate for that. We've got to protect people who run for public office, or no one will.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says Congress is in the process of reviewing what measures of security for lawmakers are appropriate and what resources they would need to allocate for that. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll hear from a man who says he was misidentified as the suspect in Charlie Kirk's shooting death. Today, a community in mourning. Wake Forest High School families will honor the football coach's late wife at tonight's game. Former Rollsville principal Erica Lewis died this week after being injured in a shooting. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live at Wakefield High School this morning, where her husband's football team will be playing tonight. And Sean, they will likely see a show support at that game.
For sure, Renee, and often you'll hear people talk about faith, family, and football. All three of those will come together when Wake Forest travels here to Wakefield tonight for its game. A lot of families encouraging one another to wear blue in support of Erica Lucas's husband. Now, hundreds have liked this Instagram post encouraging people to wear blue for Coach Lucas, supporting him during just the unimaginable. Erica Lucas died Tuesday after being caught in the middle of gunfire in Wake Forest about 2 weeks ago. Investigators say she was not the intended target of that shooting. Lucas was a career educator and passionate about lifting up her community, qualities that her former colleagues say will be sorely missed.
She really strived to pass that energy and effort on to every single student that she met. She never let a student leave her presence without understanding that they had the capability of doing anything that they wanted or dreamed to do. And I think that's what really I find remarkable about Erica and about her career, and I think what made her an outstanding educator and outstanding person.
Two cousins are charged in the shooting, 18-year-old Dexter Mills and his 16-year-old cousin. Mills facing a first-degree murder charge. Now, tonight, Wake Forest will look to get its first win when they travel here to Wakefield. Kickoff scheduled for 7 o'clock. In Wake County, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
And we are working to learn new information about two different law enforcement situations overnight. The first one in Moore County, where a chase ended in a crash. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on US 1 near Midland Road in Southern Pines. We're trying to confirm information about the driver and any potential charges. The second police scene was in Raleigh. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on Cohen Lane near Rock Quarry Road shows a damaged car being lifted onto a tow truck. We've reached out to the Wake County Sheriff's Office to find out about the car and who was driving it. A man facing several federal warrants was arrested near an elementary school in Durham. Sky 5 flew over the scene. This happened around 2:30 yesterday afternoon near C.C. Spalding Elementary. The man ran from police toward the school. When police tried to arrest him, officers were able to get him into custody. Minutes later, police got an out-of-state call reporting an active shooter was at the school, and police say there was no shooting. They believe that call was somehow related to the chase. A memorial is growing at the light rail station in Charlotte, where Irina Zaruska was stabbed and killed last month. She had just gotten on the light rail train minutes before DeCarlos Brown stabbed her several times with a pocket knife. He's now facing state and federal charges. The Zaruska family attorney says Irina had just texted her boyfriend that she was on her way home from her job at a pizza restaurant. She never made it.
She was a daughter. She's a sister. She has a little brother. She has a little sister. She loved animals. She was here trying to live the American dream.
Yesterday, top leaders in the state legislature announced they plan to file a bill later this month addressing her killing. They're considering stricter rules for bail, making it easier to commit people to mental hospitals, and pushing for more executions. This morning, former North Carolina A&T basketball players are under investigation for possible sports betting violations. Some of the allegations involve betting on or against their own team and even manipulating game outcomes. 13 former players from 6 universities are being investigated. We aren't sure how many North Carolina A&T players are involved. In a statement, the NCAA's president says it monitors 22,000 contests every year and will continue to aggressively pursue competition integrity risks such as these. Questions about what's next for Microsoft are popping up in Person County. Last October, the company bought 1,400 acres of land along Country Club Road. Many believe it's on the path to becoming home to the state's next data center and calling it Microsoft Megapark. We asked Person County Commission Chair Kyle Puryear about the future for that section of land.
I recognize people are curious as to what is going out there. I'm curious as well. But at this point, we're kind of at a wait-and-see approach.
We've reached out to Microsoft asking them what are they planning to do with the mega park? Are there plans and discussions about a data center? And if so, what would the center look like and consist of? We have not yet heard back. It was a tough start for the NC State Wolfpack against Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons took last night's opening kickoff 98 yards for a touchdown. NC State had some big plays as well, like this interception return for a touchdown in the first quarter. The Wolfpack was behind at halftime, but they came back with 17 unanswered second half points. So NC State got the win, 34-24. They are now 3-0 on the season. Bill Belichick and UNC will be back home at Keenan Memorial Stadium tomorrow. The Tar Heels are 1-1 on the season after a win last week against Charlotte. They will be playing Richmond tomorrow. Kickoff is at 3:30. It's an NFL doubleheader on Fox 50 on Sunday. The Giants and Cowboys kick off at 1 p.m. After that, at 4:25, the Eagles and Chiefs play in a Super Bowl rematch. And on WRAL, it's Sunday Night Football. The Atlanta Falcons take on the Minnesota Vikings. Kickoff for that game is at 8:15. Covering Fayetteville, today Fort Bragg officials will host a groundbreaking ceremony for a new child development center on post. When complete, the center will be able to host 338 children. That will cut down on the child care wait list on post and provide support to military families. The ceremony gets started at 1. 4:41 on your Friday. Questionable posts. People nationwide are facing consequences for insensitive posts about Charlie Kirk's death, the firings and other fallout from their social media activity. Safe gaming. Video game makers are trying to give parents more control of what their kids can do. What you need to know about your child's gaming experience. It is cloudy out there and a bit cooler. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary. Just ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show us if this nice fall weather continues into the weekend.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:45 and we're taking a look out across our area. It looks fairly clear in Wilson. One of the reasons for that may be there's just a little bit of a light breeze here in Wilson. You may not be able to see it from where you're looking, but the whirligigs are spinning around a little bit. And anytime we have some motion in the atmosphere and it's mixing up, we don't see as much low cloud cover and fog. But definitely we're seeing some low clouds here in Durham. You can see the top of the building there kind of shining through some of those clouds. In Fayetteville, we're looking at 65 degrees and a little bit of fog there as well. So this is a look at our low cloud cover. A lot of it is from the Triangle area northward. You can see it there. Not as much of it down to the south, and it's not terribly widespread right now, but it tends to be a very changeable situation. We have a lot of lingering moisture in the atmosphere, and so as things continue to cool down this morning, we may see more and more low cloud cover and fog. It's 57 in Roxborough with some fog. You can see the squiggly lines. That's where we're currently seeing fog, so especially around the Triangle area.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with his top security officials to discuss his plan for what's being called the conquest of Gaza City. Local officials say Israeli strikes have destroyed more than 130 apartment buildings over the past week. The Israeli military says those high-rise buildings are used by Hamas as terrorist infrastructure. A Canadian man says he's had to delete his social media accounts after he was misidentified as a suspect in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Michael Mallinson says at the time of the shooting, he was running errands with his wife. His daughter then told him that his name and photo were circulating online as a possible suspect. He says the photo was posted by a fake account, and he and his family started getting all these hateful messages, causing them to fear for their safety so much, they called police.
Shock and horror. I've heard horrible things about people having their identity stolen. I'm just a quiet, normal guy, ordinary guy. I have no need for any publicity, thank you very much.
Police did detain 2 people Wednesday. Both were later released. This morning, an Iowa teacher is on leave over his Facebook posts about Charlie Kirk's shooting. High school art teacher Matt Cargill posted to Facebook saying, quote, "Another Nazi down," in response to Kirk's assassination.
To be able to post stuff like that's it's just inappropriate and just not called for, and it's definitely something that shouldn't have been done.
The school district says Cargill violated its social media policy with the post. The Carolina Panthers, MSNBC, several universities, and other employers have also fired their employees over posts about Kirk's death. Several children were hurt when a school bus rolled over in Pennsylvania. It happened just after 3 o'clock yesterday, 3 p.m. 31 people were on the bus. It's unclear how many children were on board, but several had minor injuries. We're working to learn what may have caused the crash. A 26-foot fishing boat washed onto Nags Head Beach. The boat sunk last week after 2 people were rescued from it. With the help of the U.S. Coast Guard, Nags Head first responders were able to identify the owner of the boat, and they confirmed it was the boat that capsized off Cape Henry in Virginia Beach. The owner is working with his insurance company to remove it from the beach. It is 4:49 on your Friday morning, and we're seeing some low cloud cover out there, and in some parts, Elizabeth, maybe even fog, so people need to have a heads up on that.
We'll take a look here at Franklinton. There's a little bit of low cloud cover that's developed here. What's going on is we had skies clear overnight last night, but we have some lingering moisture. You know, yesterday was a cloudy day up until, kind of mid to late afternoon. So still some moisture lingering. As the atmosphere begins to cool, that allows that to condense. And sometimes it condenses into low cloud cover and sometimes into fog. Fog is just a cloud that sits on the ground, but it reduces our visibility because we're driving through a cloud. So we're going to see a little bit of both as we get through the day today. Let's take a look at our available moisture. There's not much out there, and this high pressure system will build in and help to funnel in more dry air. That's going to keep any precipitation offshore over the weekend. This is Saturday at 5 p.m. and we'll roll it out to Sunday. The next weather maker is going to be this low that you see right down there on the bottom of the screen. That's going to start to drift closer to the coast. It's going to push in some rain for us for, say, Tuesday and Wednesday. In the meantime, things are looking pretty quiet for us, but the rain totals are starting to pick up on that. This goes out for the next 7 days. Notice down here in Wilmington, starting to see some yellow shaded areas. That's about 2 inches of rain south of Wilmington. For us, right now, it looks like our rainfall is probably going to be fairly light. We'll just have to see how far inland that coastal low develops. In the meantime, that high pressure system is going to bring us a gorgeous weekend. UNC plays Richmond at home at 3:30 Saturday. It's going to be a nice afternoon. 79 at around 3 o'clock. Low humidity, nice and warm. Should be just fantastic. We're continuing to watch the tropics. This is the time of year when we tend to see systems developing off the coast of Africa and moving across the tropics. It's a 30% chance that that one will develop. It's been pretty quiet for a while. We've had a lot of dust coming off the coast of Africa. That Saharan dust tends to keep our chances for storms down a little bit. For today, looking at 82, 80 Saturday, 84 Sunday, and then we get into next week, and that coastal low could start to bring us some rain. We'll take a closer look at that coming up.
The return of a classic, The Sound of Music, is back in theaters for its, get this, 60th anniversary. How you can catch the beloved musical and your other Hollywood headlines next. It is 4:54. Paramount Skydance is preparing to make a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. That's according to reports from the Wall Street Journal. The merger would come just weeks after the Skydance merger with Paramount. Paramount not only owns its film studio, it also owns CBS News, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, The CW, MTV, and BET. One of the most loved musicals of all time is back in theaters. Douglas Hyde has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Theaters across the U.S. are alive again with The Sound of Music. A restored and remastered 60th anniversary version is now in cinemas. Audiences must still consider it one of their favorite things. The classic musical's theatrical run was extended through next Wednesday due to popular demand.
It's gonna get us. It's gonna get us all. What are we talking about?
A little bit of big news for Big Little Lies fans. After a long hiatus, work is now officially underway on a 3rd season. The hit HBO show is staffing up with a new executive producer and writer. No word yet on when the new season will premiere. Big Little Lies last aired way back in 2019.
You're the world champion right now.
Here's your first look at Sydney Sweeney in the boxing biopic Christie. As you can see, she completely transformed for the film, which centers on real-life boxer Christy Martin, who rose from small-town roots to become one of boxing's first female stars. Christy enters the ring November 7th. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Quite the transformation. Well, going out and socializing looks different for younger Americans. That's because of a growing trend called soft clubbing. DJs across the country are pumping up partiers at daytime coffee events. This comes as Gen Z shifts away from alcohol-centered events, opting instead for quieter get-togethers. Data shows 61% of Gen Zers want to drink less. Event ticketing sites like Eventbrite have seen a 92% increase in sober gatherings. It is 4:56, supporting the Lucas family. Tonight, Wake Forest High School will play its first football game since the death of their coach's wife. How fans plan to honor her during the game. New surveillance video. The manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer is drawing thousands of tips. What new evidence is revealing about who the shooter may be. And police on the scene in Raleigh. A man is critically hurt after he was shot several times. What we know about that investigation from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker.